Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. In this tutorial, I will be showing you how to make this journal using one sheet of scrapbook paper. So it opens up like this, and then it's got two signatures inside. You can see two signatures. It's got three pockets, one here, one here, one here, and potentially this could also be a little place for a pen. Got all of the steps written down over here as usual, and I will pop them side by side at the end of the video so you can take a screenshot. There's lots of writing space in here, and this would be a perfect gift for somebody going on a vacation, or even for yourself, just to have a little journal inside your purse at all times so you have somewhere to write notes. Alright, let's begin. Okay, so the first step is choosing a non-directional scrapbook page. I'm going to use this one. If I was to choose a directional scrapbook page like this one, for example, this is the right way up, if that makes sense. Once I fold it, all of my butterflies will be upside down, which is not a huge deal, but probably better for this project to use a non-directional scrapbook page. I want this side of the scrapbook page to be my outside cover, so I'm going to turn it this way. And now I need to fold the bottom side up, leaving about 1/2 inch space up the top. I'm actually leaving just a little bit more. You will see instantly how tall your journal is going to be. Make sure the sides are meeting properly on the side. And I'm just running over the crease with my bone folder, just to make that crease nice and crisp. Okay, so the third step is making the folds. So the first two folds are going to be for our signatures. That's where we'll bind in the signatures. And the third fold is going to be the closure. So I make my first fold at around 3 1/4 of an inch, but you can customize to whatever suits you and whatever size of a journal you want to have. Okay, so I'm going to make my first fold at 3 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to go ahead and make that fold. Make sure everything's meeting and the creases are crisp. So what will happen is this one will start peeking out. Don't worry about that. That will all get sorted out as we go. And then for the next fold, I'm just going to leave about 1/4 of an inch space from this edge over here. Actually a little bit less. You just need a little bit of space. It doesn't have to be exact, but I'm going to say 1/8 of an inch, just a little bit. So I'm leaving about this much space. So you can see that space, and we're leaving that space because we'll have a signature in here. So we want to have a little bit of space there for that signature to fit in. Okay, so that's our second fold, and now we're left with this. And now I just need to make a fold in my cover. And then again, I'm going to leave approximately the same amount of space and do that fold. So about 1/8 of an inch. There we go. So those are our folds. And then as you can see here, this is peeking out. That's because we're folding and then this paper starts to peek out. And the thicker your paper, the more of that's going to happen, but we will sort that out, so don't worry, just keep going. Okay, so the next step is sewing. If you don't want to sew, you most certainly can just glue the sides here, but I haven't tried that. I've done it all with sewing. So open this up all the way, and now I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew these 3 sides all in one go. Here we go. So I'm going to start down here. I'm just going to do a straight stitch all the way around. Okay, so those 3 sides have been sewn. So you can see we created this kind of thing. And now you'll see when you close the journal, none of those, that sheet of paper on the inside is not sticking out, so we don't have to trim anything. But what happens is a little bit of bulging on the inside, and that's fine because this will be filled up with signatures and little bits and pieces, so everything will be kind of filled up and okay. All right, so the next step is to sew through these folds, and this is totally an optional step. I just like to sort of seal the folds. It's not necessary, it's more for looks, I guess, but I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and sew those folds so that I create 3 pockets. This, I guess, could be called a 4th pocket. I just drew myself some lines here over my fold so that I can see where I'm stitching, because this paper, it's really hard to see. So I'm just going to stitch straight down those folds. And I am just adjusting my stitching length to about, let me show you, in between 2 and 3 over here. So that will widen my stitch, and that way my paper is not going to tear. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to trim these pieces off. I have back stitched at the start and at the end, so I don't have to worry about anything unraveling. Or alternatively, what I might do is bring these stitches on the same side and then tie a knot. And here we go. So you can see that stitching there, and now what we have created is these pockets, but this is an optional step. You don't have to do these stitchings at all. All right, the next thing that we're doing, step 5, is creating signatures and binding it into the journal. I have prepared my signatures here already, and I have 7 pages in each signature, 7 pages that are folded in half, and mine measure, it depends really where you make your fold and how tall you want your signatures to be, but these are my measurements for my signatures. And now I'm just going to test it out, make sure everything's okay. So this one will be bound in here, and then this one will be bound in here. Alternatively, you can bind yours in there, so it really doesn't matter. My signatures are ready, and now I'm simply going to bind them into my book using a 3 pamphlet stitch. I have my template over here ready, where I've already marked where I'm going to poke the holes. So I'm going to pop that in the middle like that, and then pop that into, I'm not actually making the holes like I usually do into the cover first, so I'm just going to do it all in one go. And I'm going to use my template. You can totally eyeball this, but I think it's nice to, I don't know, be centered, I guess. And I'm just going to poke those holes through my signature and my cover all at once. Remove this, and I just keep this here to keep everything in place. And now I'm going to start binding. So start from the middle, and we're on the inside. Employ my pliers for some help. Back to the outside, and then back to the inside. Here we go. So usually I will tie a bow here, but I do not want any extra bulk in this journal, so I'm just going to tie a double knot and trim it off. And there we go. So that's my first signature bound. And now I need to bind the second signature. So if you're making this, you can bound your second signature right into that second fold where you've got your stitches, so where the fold is. But I'm actually going to leave a little bit of space just so I can create a little spine for my second signature. So I'm just going to just do another tiny little fold right next to it. Doesn't have to be, you know, perfect. So you can see I made a tiny little spine here. It will just make everything sit nicer if you have some space in there. So I made that second fold, and I know it's difficult to see, but I'm going to bind my signature into the fold next to my sewing, so not into the sewn area, which by all means, if you want to simplify it, just bind it in there. I just like to make sure that I have enough space. So now I'm using my template again. I didn't even show you my pages. I just used some random, you know, scrapbook paper and stuff like that. And now I'm going to place my signature into that second fold I've created and poke my holes and bind it in just like I did with the first signature. Okay, here we go, 2 signatures sewn in. So just keep in mind that this is an idea that can actually go many different ways. So you can do what I'm doing, or you can change it up and make it all yours and do different things. You can even have a 3rd signature in here. So it's really up to you. But I just want to show you, this is how it looks when it closes. And you can see over here, that first signature there. And then you can see over here, it's got like a little spine. And I will do a similar thing with the closure as well. But before I do the same thing with the closure, it's really quick and easy to do. First thing I want to do is fill it up, and I'm going to add all of my embellishments, and I'm going to keep it minimal. Obviously, with this type of thing, you can't add a whole lot because you won't be able to close your journal. So the next thing I'm going to do is embellish my journal. So this will be fun. I have already prepared everything that I need so that I'm not doing it on camera and taking up too much of your time. So I've got everything over here ready, and I'm just going to start adding it to my journal. So the first thing I want to do is add a little pocket over here. So this is just a scrap little piece of paper that I've sewn around just to give it, you know, a nice look. So I'm just going to glue that down and create an extra pocket in my journal. And there we go. And inside that pocket, I'm going to pop this journaling card, and then when it opens up, I just created this tag, just added a postage stamp and some book page and some sewing up the top, and that's going to live in here, peeking out a little bit above there. I like that. And then I'm going to use this, just a little bit of book page and a little sticker, and I'm going to glue this down here and leave that as a pocket as well. And then this little tag is going to live in there. Next thing I'm doing is adding a little journaling spot here on the first page of my first journal. I mean a signature, not journal. There we go. And then I might add this little tag over here. So, you know, I just want it to look as appealing as possible right away as you open the journal. I want everything to look fun. So those two tags are in. Now I'm going to move over here. There's so many things that we can do. And I am just using this little piece of lined paper that I've sewn around, and I'm going to glue this whole thing down right there. There we go, that looks good. So there's some more journaling space there. I could have left that as a pocket or side pocket, but that's going overboard now, I think. All right, and now I'm going to put this tag in here. More journaling, more fun, you know. And now on the back, I'm going to put this tag in this pocket over here. And then this journaling spot, date, notes, I'm just going to glue it right down over here. Once again, you know, that could be a pocket too, but we can't put too many things in here. This would be a fun little gift idea for someone going away on a vacation, and they can journal about their days, and you know, or you can make it for yourself when you go on a vacation and to remember what's happened and all that sort of stuff. Okay, and that's all the embellishing I'm going to do. So I've just added 3 tags. Look, it's already looking so interactive and fun, and it's really quite a simple idea. So before we continue, I just want to show you my prototype. So this is how I sort of come up with things when I was thinking, what can I make? I just used some really bad scrapbook paper, not very good quality, not beautiful design, and just some pages. And you see from magazine, and you see my original idea. I was going to do this second signature into this fold, but then I changed my mind. But that could still work. Or you could have, like I said, you could have 3 signatures in there, but then you need to play around with how they would sit and how much space you need and all that sort of stuff. All right, so for our last step, is the closure. So what I'm going to do now is I want to close my journal and see how it sits when it's finished, when it's got all of the bits and pieces in there. So as you can see, because I filled it up, see that? It's not really closing properly. So at this point, what I'm going to do is just create a fold here to make a spine. And to have this closure sit easier, or nicer, I should say. So it's as simple as that. Just play around, which is what I said here, depending on how thick your book is. And I'm just going to add a fold here to create a spine or a closure that closes properly. And there we go, look at that, so much better. So I'm going to use this twine as a closure. I think it looks quite nice with this paper. So you can simply just poke a hole in there and pop your twine or whatever you're using, sari, silk or whatever. I'm going to use my silent setter I don't own a crocodile, but this is quite good at creating, you know, the holes and popping these things on. Eyelets. I got this on eBay actually, and it wasn't very expensive. It was quite a reasonable price. A lot of people ask me where I got the silent setter from, and yep, eBay it is. I'm just sort of going to eyeball the center of my journal and create a hole there using my silent setter. And now set my eyelet in there. And that's done. See, it looks really beautiful and it's easy peasy. And adding my closure. Closure added, and now let's see how it all sits when it's closed. And there we go, perfect. So I probably could add some nice beads here that would make it look even better. I think it looks quite good. And I think once you have an idea, it's easy to reproduce over and over again. You can see I've used similar things, different scrapbook paper, different tags, but you know, the idea is the same. So it's quite easy, it flows. Once you have one made, or once you're playing around with an idea and then you execute the idea, it might change like it did from my prototype over here. So there you have it. Please let me know what you guys think. Do you like them? Do you think they're cute? See, this one's got a smaller spine than this one. You just play around. Some beads I think would look also really cool on there. Maybe some gold beads. I think it'll look really nice to finish it off, so that's another thing that you can do. It can go any way you want it to, as long as you have fun. That's the main thing, having fun and coming up with new things that you can include. I'm about to put the instruction sheet side by side for you if you want to take a screenshot. I really hope that you leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Okay, so here is your opportunity to take a screenshot of the instructions. I do go into quite a bit of detail, as you can see. I hope you find it helpful. Just remember that this is your book. You can make it the way that you want. You can adjust it the way that you want. You might think there's an easier way to do it. You do what you want to do. If you find an easier way, you do that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!